Hello, it's Paul Clegg here. I'm with Simon Lauder and Christopher Bond from the Wells Coronavirus Network, who, as you may know, provided much needed support for the local community through an army of volunteers. And the question I want to ask first of all to you, Simon, is does that still exist? Is there still a need out there?
Very much so, Paul. We've, over the time of lockdown, when so many people simply couldn't leave their homes and were rather frightened, we were delivering prescriptions, we were doing shopping trips for them, 1,000 of each pretty much. But still now we are getting regular calls, a lower number, but there are still people who need us to help them to just get their normal supplies. And sometimes it's just a phone call. Sometimes it's just a friendly phone call, but the need is still there and we're still there.
The obvious question is how long is this going to continue? But that's something that nobody can answer because, of course, that we don't know how long the virus is going to be around. However, I do know that you created another direction for the use of the coronavirus network.
We have indeed. Essentially, while that particular need continues, we've developed a whole programme of support for Wells businesses. The business sector has been very badly hit, as we all know, being closed down effectively for several months, and an awful lot of people who run businesses, run shops, self-employed people, are wondering how on earth they can survive. So it's about helping them to survive, to recover, and in many cases to reshape the business.
As I recently heard, you can't see the big picture when you're in the frame. But a lot of people who have built businesses over many years suddenly faced with the challenge that we have right now. How easy is it for them to come and reach out to yourselves? I mean, do you see that as a challenge in itself?
Well, I hope they'll find that we're the sort of people we can trust. Getting hold of us is very easy, and we can talk about that. Our email, we've got a helpline where they can contact us. But the principle is your analogy, if you can't see the big picture, if you're in the frame. A lot of these people, very experienced business people, have never actually faced this problem before. This is quite unique in their experience, and it's quite devastating. And the chance to be able to talk it through with people who've been there, done that, seen the highs and lows of business, and professionals without any cost to themselves, is what we're putting out into the community now. People you can trust.
So the first step would be to connect with what I know is the term sympathetic ears, and I know Christopher, you've been very much part of that initiative, and so do you want to explain how you think that might work?
I think the sympathetic ear service has got a wonderful name because it is a listening service from those, as you have mentioned, who have experienced the good times and bad times in business and can explain that uncertainty is not disastrous. What we see from our research among local businesses is that not only have they suffered from considerable financial losses, loss of income during the lockdown period, but they are also very uncertain about the future, not just financially, but also in terms of how to protect not just customers, but also their own staff. And this all adds up to stress, which is where the experienced but retired business person who has been through the mill before will be able to lend a sympathetic ear and share the troubles of the business.
So that person isn't necessarily somebody with the answers, because very often, if you ask the right questions, the person involved knows the answers. And sometimes I found in business that you don't always know who you can talk to. Not everybody has a business consultant, not everybody has a marketing consultant, and it's not always easy to talk to that person that's close to you because they know you as a different person, and they may not have the experience to do that. So presumably this service is free and confidential?
It's both free and confidential. And we are very much aware that business owners are proud of what they have achieved, proud of their independence, and that may well mean that they do not have the advisors or are not used to asking for advice.
No.
And so one of the key elements of all the services we are providing is that we are making particular care to encourage, by word of mouth and in every other way that we can think of, people to realize that it's a good thing to come forward, that there is much to be gained and little to be lost, and that a trouble shared with somebody who is sympathetic and experienced is a trouble halved.
And you already have a team of people who've stepped forward with that experience to be able to help right now.
We do indeed, and Simon, why don't you?
Yes, we have. We put the word out amongst the retired business community. We're lucky to have an awful lot of them in Wales, and a lot of them have held down some good jobs in very interesting companies. Others have started their own business and have gone through all the ups and downs of that themselves. And we've got a pretty impressive bunch of people across a whole range of different industries, of different specialities, different expertise.
Talk for a moment.
We've been
there
talking,
about
the three of
people
us,
who are already in business.
about the future, and I don't see the difficulty now. I see the difficulty in maybe October, November, when people are going back to jobs that no longer exist and finding it very difficult to get other jobs. So there will be an increase in the number of people starting up their own business, maybe for the very first time. Many
of our sympathetic ears, and also we have a number of the professional firms in this city who have offered pro bono advice as well. Lawyers, accountants, financial managers, marketing people, people who are prepared to actually sit down with people starting their own business, helping them to develop a business plan, to develop a proposition, to look very carefully at what their skills are and where there might be an opportunity in the marketplace. The marketplace out there has changed beyond recognition in many, many forms of buying and business. New opportunities are there, no question of it. And I think that's the way we'd like to look at it. Yes, you're scared stiff if you lost your job, and you're a certain age perhaps, but this is the opportunity, this is a chance for you to sit down with one of our people, no commitment, no cost, and just talk through how you might be able to set up on your own or with a couple of friends.
I think that's absolutely tremendous. I wish you'd have had that without the virus when I first started and I left corporate, because my background is marketing and I'm absolutely not, my strength is finance. And I wish I'd had somebody to talk to who had said, have you considered cash flow? Have you considered these various issues? Because there's so many things that can trip you up. So I think that's a good service. How have we got people on board with these various skills? What skills do we believe are necessary for a startup? Christopher?
We have a whole range of active professionals. Wells has the advantage of being a very attractive and successful services centre. The services centre for the Mendip, perhaps. And it is amazing, and I have learnt a lot about the skills of people who are living in and around Wells. We are laying particular emphasis not just on the traditional law and accounting, but also on the new skills, on e-commerce, on setting up websites, on using MailChimp to send out group emails, we have offers from active professionals in all these areas who are themselves very keen to support local businesses and to see Wells thrive.
And where can people make contact in the first instance?
First instance, get in touch with Christopher and myself. It comes through by email or directly on the phone. There's a 7-day-a-week phone line which is set up. The number's on your screen, and we have our own dedicated email address. We'll get straight back to you. Just give us a little bit of a flavour of the sort of thing you're looking for, and where you are now and where you're trying to get to. Just a very short description, and we'll get back to you very quickly and put you in touch with the whole range of people who may be able to help you, from which you, as Christopher says, you can select the one that seems right for you.
Just so that I'm clear, and so the viewer is clear, they make contact, they'll go and end up speaking to somebody who is very au fait with business and will help see where the issues lie, and then they will provide contact with a professional that best serves. Either he's able to communicate with that person on their level because they've got a background in, say, engineering, or they have a background in retail, and they would then sit down and talk this through, brainstorm this. If they want any, and that's free of charge, but any further services, if there's any in-depth work beyond that, if they want to work with that person, naturally that person will charge for that.
Yeah, that is right. It is that what the active professionals are all offering is an extended free introductory service, which may be provided on a one-to-one basis, may be done by workshop or webinar or e-learning module. We have professionals who are offering all these different ways of accessing the information and themselves.
Just can I make one final point? This is all being put together by the people of Wells. We're not a government agency, we're not anything to do with any statutory body. We're Wells people helping Wells people, and that's what we'd all like to do together with you.